Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. First and foremost, thank you very much to our sponsors, Jason, Levon, David, Judo TV, use discount code Shintaro, Higashi Brands. We have a very special guest today, Robert Eriksson. You are 17 years Swedish coach and now you're the US Judo coach, correct?
Yes, that's true. I
Wow.
recently started working for USA Judo, yeah.
Yeah, and you logged on and I saw you and I was like, wow, this guy looks so familiar because I fought 100 kilograms in back when you were competing, but I was still pretty young. So I was like maybe 18 years old when you were 2003 was when you kind of finished off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So who did you compete against in the US?
In the US,
Yeah.
oh, I did fight I fought Brian Olsen one time, but it was in 90 kilo when I was
Yeah.
90 kilo. I fought him in the World Championships one time in
Oh,
Birmingham.
nice.
Actually,
Roddy
I won.
Ferguson.
I
You
was
beat
lu-
Olsen?
I
Nice.
was lucky.
Yeah.
He was much better than me, but I won that fight.
That's a
Then
good
I
one.
fought it was called Michael Barnes from
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mike
Marcus,
Barnes, Roddy Ferguson. So all those guys were
I
like,
never fought him. I never
oh, you
fought
never fought
Rodney
him?
Ferguson. No, I didn't do 100 that long. I did it just 1.5 year maybe. So I
Okay.
was actually
Nice.
not
Nice.
kid.
So as I was coming in, you were already kind of leaving, right? So we have a little bit of but you do look familiar, and now you're the U.S. coach. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's a new experience. As I said, I was for many years the head coach for the Swedish team. Then I got after Tokyo Olympic Games, I retired as a coach. I was working for a
Wow.
couple of years as a sport director, high performance director. Then I did leave judo totally. I started working for
Wow.
another sport organization in Sweden, and then this opportunity came up, and yeah, I decided to go back coaching.
Wow. So the U.S. Judo called you and say, "Hey, you live in the States now too, right?"
Yeah, I just moved
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
When did you move here?
I first came like 2 months in the end of last year uh,
Okay. Nice.
to go get familiar a little bit more with USA Judo, and then I moved in the end of January.
Nice, nice. So what is this program? Like what happened? Like is I hear there's a national training center now all of a sudden that
Yeah.
people are doing events. It's a big space, right?
Yeah, so what happened was that USA Judo, they teamed up with an organization who's called the US Performance Center, which is located here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And this organization, US Performance Center, is kind of what OTC, Colorado Springs, was in the past, or still is. But many
Ah,
sports have relocated here because of
nice.
they get good facilities, they get a good financial support to establish themselves here. So judo, for some reason, this was before I was hired. They teamed up
Yeah.
with them, and then they were looking for a coach. And in the end, I got the job. So yeah, so I'm just basically been here now for 2 months.
So what sports are there at the performance center in Charlotte?
So for now, they have it. We are sharing the facilities with Taekwondo. They're in
Oh,
the same like
yeah.
next door to us. Then they have USA Rugby, field hockey, table tennis for the para team, archery, skateboard. Like, they have a lot of sports like onboarding. I think they
Yeah.
have in totally they're working with 15 or 17 sports.
That's amazing. And then the space for training, is that like is it a big space or
Yeah, for now, like our dojo is not massive, like but it's a very good dojo that they build it for us. So they have like this typical spring floor, that all Japanese dojos
Oh
has,
yeah, yeah, that's amazing.
which is
Yeah.
really really good for the break falls. Then
Yeah.
of course, then they have a gym for us that we can use, and
Nice.
yeah, so it's good. It's
So
what we
how
need.
many square feet is the tatami area, do you think? Maybe you don't use square feet because you're from
Oh
Sweden,
no,
but
I'm from Sweden,
yeah.
but it's like one 8 by 8
Competition area?
competition area by the safety zones. So
Okay.
it's not that big, but
Yeah.
I think in a year or two we're gonna have a bigger space because they're
So how many randori can you do in that space? Probably like five teams, 20, 10 people doing randori at once? Or?
you can have like 10, 15 people doing randori. That's no
Oh,
problem.
that's not so bad. That's pretty good,
No,
actually. Yeah.
it's
And
okay.
then, so do people train there like full time? Is there like a dormitory?
It's not a dormitory.
Ah,
There is, of course, because we are located at the University of North Carolina, we use the
Oh, that's
facilities
cool.
there. But for now, like nobody's staying in the dormitory. We are like they're putting up their own apartments. So
So are you guys doing like a regular dojo that's open to the public? Like, hey, kids can come
no,
train? No,
no,
it's
no.
just performance, period.
It's only high performance. There's only our dojo, so there's no kids training. There is no recreational training. There is nothing.
Wow.
So what we do is we have the high performance pathway, of course, but then I work a little bit with the local clubs in the area.
Okay.
So we have them coming in as bodies, training partners, a couple
Yeah.
of times a week. Which
So
is
how
good.
many people have relocated who are like currently on the roster that lives there full time, trains there full time?
Yeah. So now it's just 6. as
6.
we
Okay.
just
It's a
started.
start though. It's a start. Right?
Yeah.
It's a new program. It's normal
And
to
we-
have that kind of numbers. Right.
So we're probably going to have about 13, 14 in June when everybody finish school, because some people are
Yeah.
still in high school. So they finish school.
Are you
and they will
focused
work.
on juniors? Is this like a part of the run for the Olympic thing?
Yeah, it's from normally it's from under over 18 and above.
Okay. Yeah.
We can accept some younger. We have some younger athletes, but yeah, it's one of the parts for building up towards LA. Of course, it's one way of using it. Of course, for the residential players, but we're also going to try to like have smaller training camps and invite people to come and train.
Yeah, I remember a couple months ago, the US Judo reached out and, hey, do you want to go to this training camp in Charlotte? And I was like, I have no idea what that is, and I didn't bother, but
Yeah,
I was like,
that-
what, like that's something new. Usually they do it at Jimmy Pedro's or something, so I was
they
like,
do for that. It was like they did their, as I understand it. Please understand that I only been here a couple of months. I don't have don't know everything about USA Judo, but they normally do like a winter national camp in December. I think the previous years they've done it in Texas.
Yes.
But this year, last year they decided to do it here in Charlotte in the university. So they had the national camp here for 4 days, and it was good. It was like 130 players or something here.
Wow, you guys did that all in that 8x8 tatami?
No, then we bring tatamis. Then we bring.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Because there's like a big gymnasium, like next outside our dojo, there's like a big basketball gymnasium where you can put the mats.
So let's talk about that. I was so curious because I almost went to it, right? To like, make YouTube and stuff like this. So like, what is that about? Like, was it like 130 like high performance athletes, or just anyone and everyone just came and trained?
Yeah. So for that camp, first I would say I was not organizing the camp, because this was during my first visit in US. So I was just taking part as one of the coaches. So normally I would say they invite and fund the camp for those athletes who are being in the national team.
Yes.
Like it's being like Team USA for Pan Am's or World Championships team, etc. And then it was also open for those who ever want to participate by their own cost, like they had to pay to get there. It was no cost. It was no cost for the training camp, but they had to pay their own hotel.
Yeah. I mean, kind of nice too, because then you get an Airbnb, stuff everybody in a room, like all that stuff that you can kind of do and get away. So maybe I'll send some guys next time.
It was a good. It was okay for me. This is normal, Okay, but I come from, we do national training camps two times a month, maybe. This is normal. But here is and this is one time a year, so it's a little bit different.
I mean, it's a small judo nation. US is massive, but it's a small judo nation, and I think we're still sort of in the developmental stage. We've been stuck there for a little while, because funding is kind of sparse. Which so does the performance center pay you, or US Judo pay you?
So we have a budget for the performance center, which include me, and it includes so it includes my costs, and it includes money we can use for funding the athletes, for housing, and for travel expenses, and etc. So it's a quite good budget, actually.
Yeah. So you are in charge of everything. Like, do you have staff that helps you with all the administrative stuff, or is it like, all right, you're here, you do everything?
For now, of course, I work together with USA Judo, of course, with the high performance group. But like here on the local area, I do everything, which is
that's brutal.
It's
a lot of work, probably, right?
I used to it, I did this. I did the same in Sweden. Like I did all the logistics and everything for Sweden for 20 years. So
but I would feel like in Europe with the judo, like you're gonna have more staff and more people helping you out. No.
Now we have when I left. like before I left when I was high performance director,
Yeah.
I set a new system, so we have more coaches. But when I was working, we were like just a few coaches.
Wow.
Just a
Okay,
few
so what
coaches.
is the plan for like you getting? Obviously, you want athletes to do well at the Olympics because you're going to be the head coach and everything, right?
So I'm not going to be the head coach for Olympics. Like
Yeah.
there is no head coach for USA Judo.
No.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they don't have a national team that way, which I hope we can have in the future, and that this training center can be a part in it
Yeah.
to help the best athletes in US to prepare together. No matter if they're a residential player or if they just come in for training camps or whatever they decide to, but
Yeah.
so of course this is, as I see, this is a, what do you say, a pathway towards the
Yeah.
Olympics, one pathway, which if you look around the world, what everybody else is doing is what everybody else is doing. And what I would say for USA Judo, they need it also, because especially as it's a big country,
Yeah.
like
It is. Yeah.
people are spread out and they're doing
Yeah.
whatever they are doing,
Yeah. Baseball, football, not judo.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
exactly.
Yeah. So is there like a heavy like a recruiting campaign of like, hey, identify key players at U.S. Nationals. Top 5 gets an email. Hey, man, we have this opportunity to train full time if you want to do it. Because a lot of these kids who aren't training full time never really make it, right? You probably trained full time when you were an athlete.
Yeah, I did
You
last
got to be
year.
a pro, right?
Yeah. Yes. Again, the US is a little bit different. I can say, I almost said a normal country. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
With
Definitely. Yeah.
with a normal structure, like you
Yeah.
create the training center, you have a national team, and then you select the people and they come.
Yes, that's right. That's
So
right.
if you don't come to the national team, if you don't come to the training center, you don't get funded, you don't get selected. This is what all the big countries are doing, and
Yeah.
this is like you're a piece in the system. Here it's a bit different. Like you have to, as you say, you have to recruit people, and which I'm not used to at all.
Yeah.
Like
You got to be a salesman almost, right?
I'm used to do the opposite, to say no to people. You're not good enough. You cannot come. Here it's a little bit different. So what we are doing is,
Yeah.
first of all, try to inform about it. This is what we have. This can be
Yeah.
a good help if you are by yourself in your club. You have no seniors
Yeah.
to train with, or you have no funding.
Yeah,
You
I
have
mean, this
no.
is part one, right? I mean, because like we get a lot of listens and views. I don't know if you watch any of my YouTube stuff, but this is kind of the way to get people out there, and in focus. I'm in judo, like really deep into it, and I didn't even know about it until recently.
No.
So that's not good. That I didn't know
So
about it.
yes, yeah, and this is not only you. Like many people now starting to realize
Yeah,
that this is happening, and they are showing a lot of interest. I think it's also common because many people, they complain about they have no funding and they
yeah,
have no
yeah.
support. But also you must understand that to have funding and to have support, it also comes with responsibilities.
Definitely,
You
100%.
can you
Yeah,
cannot you cannot already decide by yourself what you're going to do all the time if you get funded. Like if I'm going to pay you to come to training center,
yeah,
of course you have to follow the program. You have to work in a professional way, and me as a national coach will decide if you're good enough to go to
yeah,
what tournaments or training camp or whatever it is. And as this is always most of the case how it works, like if somebody pays you something, you
yeah.
always have to give something back.
Yes,
but
yeah,
but I have the feeling sometimes here that people want money, they want
yeah,
support, but they don't want to do anything
yes.
to
True.
help. So
Are you familiar with the New York Athletic Club at all?
yeah, I know about it. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know
Yeah.
they have that in New York Open, and that they are supporting some of the athletes with some
Yes, yeah, same
funding.
thing. So it's like, there's a requirement, like you have to compete at U.S. Nationals, you have to go to the World Championships, like all these tournaments, like you kind of have to do, right? Like, it's not that big. So, but are you going to do something like that? Like, hey, if you are part of this program, you have to compete in the U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, of course. If you let's say you apply and get accepted to the program,
Yeah,
you're going to be a part of the training structure and the high performance structure. And,
yeah,
and in this case, you have to commit to the training program first of all,
yeah,
and then we like I make a planning for the athletes, and a planning for the group, for the team, and of course an individual planning for each athlete. Say, hey, this is what you're going to do depending
yeah.
on your level and what is best for you now.
So if someone's listening, right, they're like a black belt, 18, 19 years old, pretty good, winning local tournaments, going to junior nationals, doing well. Like, what can they expect when they join your program? Like in terms of like training, like all the stuff. Like, what can they expect to get if they sign up and say, all right, take me away, bro. Take me to the top.
First of all, like if they come and they commit and they have the level for it, what they do, like they get somebody. In this case, it's me. I'm going to take the responsibility of develop them. Like you put them in the high performance environment where they can do training every day, twice a day with
Twice a
judo,
day.
strength. Like today, for now, the program now we do twice a day with always coaches there. Like I'm always there.
Yeah.
Conditioning coaches is there every day. They can go to the athletic trainers to get treatment, massage, whatever they need if they get injured,
Yeah.
and they can get to the nutritionist to get help with the weight cut and everything. So it's
So
a really
who are some of your guys now or girls that are on the team that are doing well now in the country, internationally? I'm trying to gauge like what the level is over there and what sort of the bare minimum you have to be. Because you were saying like some people apply and it's like, sorry, you're not good enough. Like, where is that line?
yeah, that's quite hard for me to say, because some people I know a little bit more because they have been to the training camps we had, or I have been traveling around quite much to visiting some areas to do some regional training camps and visit some clubs so I can get to know some athletes and coaches.
Yeah.
So it's not so much about the results; it's more about that you're okay. You have to compete in a national level and international. Of course, that's the first. Like
adults, right?
yeah, or junior. Like junior is okay.
Yeah.
Like on a junior level, of course.
Yeah.
But if you only been competing like on a regional level or then it can be hard, you know.
So you have 6 athletes that are competing at a national, international level right now living there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you say who they are or?
Yeah, for now we have Sarah Golden. She's 63 kilo. She's fighting.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that name.
She's been on the world team a couple of times.
All right.
It's Jared Kosse. He's from Los Angeles. LA Tannery. He was on the junior world team last year. There was David Aghsarian. He's also from LA. He fought in some Grand Slams.
Okay, good.
Then we have Will Spate. He's from here. He fights on national level. Isabella Garriga.
Okay, yeah.
She's from Texas. She's also been in the world junior team. Yeah, there's some of those athletes.
Well, that's quite the roster, man. I kind of expected, that's a legitimate roster for you guys to train, right?
It's good. They are good athletes. They want to start, but I think have the best potential. Okay, we need more, and we have some younger guys coming in, as I said, in the summer.
Yeah, that's nice to have that base, and then that's going to draw people to come train with them. That's really good,
I hope so.
Yeah. So what is the daily training like? Like in the mornings, you lift? Do you do judo in the morning? Do you do judo twice a day? They have to lift on their own, right? Like what is the
so like we say like a normal week, basic normal week. Like for example, then we do it on Monday morning. We do either conditioning or judo training, technical training, or both.
Yeah.
And then in the evening and afternoon, we do randori training. Tuesdays, we do strength and conditioning, like lift with the coach, strength and conditioning coaches.
Yeah.
And then we do again judo in the afternoon. Wednesdays, normally we do an easy session, like technical session or a conditioning session. Then rest. There's only one session on Wednesday.
Well, that's good.
We start over again Thursday, Friday, same 2 sessions a day, lift, conditioning, technical training. And then Saturday, we do 1 training in the morning. So then they have the rest of the weekend off.
So I was talking to Jimmy Pedro. I'm sure you know who Jimmy Pedro is. He was saying any athlete that wants to go international level should compete 50 to 100 matches a year domestically.
Domestically,
minimum, bare minimum. Maybe not domestically, but like trying to go to local tournaments just to get matches and practice in. Mat time in. What do you think about that? Is that a good idea?
You have to get the mat time. You have to get the hours. 50 to 100, it's depending on, like normally you say like in 1 year, but then I would talk maybe international level, like if you can do like 50 fights a year, then you're doing good, because that means like 10 competitions, you do 5 fights. If you do 5 fights a competition, you always fight for a medal.
That's true.
Maybe most people doesn't reach that, but
it's
only also this, you also have to take it against the training volume. Because when you travel a lot, you're losing the training volume.
That's true.
Maybe not really do domestical, because then you go like Friday, you're back home Sunday. That's okay. But if you travel international, like many people do now, and they say they go to Europe for competition with the jet lag and travel,
It's
they
brutal.
4 or 5 days, and
Yeah,
you go have 1 or 2 fights.
true.
If you
Yeah,
do that 5, 6 times a year, you lose 5, 6 weeks of training.
that's very
This,
true. That's very
this way.
true. Yeah,
So that's why I think you must look over it and see that you go to
yeah.
tournaments where you win fights. And when you do training camps, like you go do the tournament and then you do the training camp or whatever, because you need to get that quality time in.
Yeah. So you're doing like active social media stuff to where kind of trying to get in front of the judo athletes in the country, reaching out to like people through Instagram and such, or having like like a forward client facing sort of a situation.
Like USA Judo do it a little bit. They try to promote it. I don't do it personally. Like
Yeah.
I have a really small Instagram account.
Yeah.
I suck at social media, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that. No,
Yeah.
but they trying to push it. I think again, we living today in a social media culture, and the
Yeah.
kids, you have to attract them that way.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more things to do to get it
Nice.
more out there.
Are you guys gonna go to the U.S. Nationals? It's coming up in a month or two, right?
Yeah, of course. I've been to quite many tournaments now in US. I was in the Youth Nationals. I've been to the Dallas Open, the President Cup,
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Winter National in California. So I've been to some tournaments and see like the level and how it
Is it
works.
very different from Sweden when you go to the nationals in Sweden?
It's different. It's different. I would say the numbers are maybe the same. Like it's not a big difference of course, Sweden, we have 10 million people in population.
Oh, that's small. I thought it was more.
Yeah.
I mean, I
No.
guess I don't know much about Europe, so
No, it's really small
Yeah.
compared to US, of course. So in
Yeah.
that case, okay, we have maybe more athletes, but I think the biggest difference is here. There is a lot more like tournaments where everybody comes. Like it's kids, it's uh,
Yeah.
elite, and it's veterans, and it's
The
call
mix.
it novice. Yeah, it's everything
Yeah.
in one. So it's a very big mix. In Sweden,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more divided where you compete.
Okay, it's only juniors, only seniors, only
Yeah, not
veterans.
only, but like it's very rare that you have like beginners in the first time competitors in the same as like advanced. Like I said.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
And the nationals is only the nationals. It's not like brown belt or
Yeah.
novice class. It's only like one category.
And you coached in Sweden for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, what's some of the athletes that you've kind of coached through the years? Some of your best results as an athlete and a coach?
Oh, so the best athletes we had throughout the years are probably still is going is Marcus Nyman, 90 kilo. He's
Oh, I
two-time
know
world
him.
medalist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, I saw
He's
him
one.
at the Tokyo Grand Slam when I competed in that, maybe 2009 or 10 or 11 or something like that. So I saw him there.
Oh,
Big
then you
boy,
were there.
big boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
a We
yeah.
had also before in the 100 kilo was probably fighting he fought at the same time as you did. It was Martin Pacek,
Oh yeah, very tall guy. Tall
very
guy.
tall,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sad animal.
Tominagi guy.
Yeah.
He was also very good. He
So you
was,
coach these guys too. That's awesome.
yeah, and Tommy Macias, he was world medalist also,
Yes.
73 kilo.
Yeah.
Anna Bernholm, she was also fighting for medals in the world. She was number 2 and number 3 in the world ranking, I think.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
Joachim Dwerby, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, I basically coached everyone the last 20 years.
That's amazing. So when you do the national team as a coach in Sweden, like everyone had to be training at one facility, kind of like what you're talking about now, or
No, now they do. Now there is a training center. We had a couple in the past, on and off, because we
Yeah.
don't have. Again, Sweden is also a small country. We don't really have the infrastructure to have
Yeah.
the training center like we wish to. So basically, what we did, the most of them they train in the clubs,
yeah.
and then we travel. But we travel, with the national team. I think we travel about 200 days a year.
Okay, wow, that's a lot.
So
Yeah.
we were always traveling training camp in Japan or in Europe.
Yes, true, true, true.
So
Yeah,
all
that's
the
the nice
time.
thing about the being in Europe because you could go to France, Germany, all these like European Junior, the European Judo Union competitions and all the tournaments over there. So you guys travel,
Yeah.
and that's a nice thing,
We need to do because Sweden is, even if it's in Europe, it's a little bit isolated because it's up in the
Yes.
north.
Yeah,
If you live like in Central Europe, if you go by car for 5, 6 hours, you
Yeah.
can reach like
True.
a a big competition or training camp every weekend. You know,
That's true. That's
for
true.
us, we always have to go by flight, or we
Do you
could drive,
miss
but
the scale of that, like being, Paris Grand Slam and like being at these massive events all the time with your team, and like I put you in
if I mi-
judo inside, and then there's a picture of you in a suit, and you're in the thing, and IJF's so legit now. Do you miss that scale?
both yes and no. I don't really miss that because I did that for so long and like so many tournaments. Um, like I like what I do now also because I really like the development part of how
Yeah.
to bring athletes up and how to create a system, a pathway, because that's also what we did in Sweden,
Yeah.
because it's not only about, you coach one or two or three athletes. You have to have a system that you can make people walk through so they get
Yeah.
funding, so they get exposed for different kind of judo and
Yeah.
professional training programs and all of that.
So do you talk with a lot of the other big dojos like Jimmy Peugeot, the ones in Florida, Texas, the one like San Jose? Like, do you talk to a lot of those coaches together to like try to coordinate something, or is it pretty
Yeah, to
isolated?
No, I talked to most of the coaches. I have not met everybody, but I've been to the most big areas. We'll go to
Nice.
Pedro's in May. We will go there in a
Nice.
couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. I spoke to Jimmy a couple of times.
Nice. Nice guy.
So that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good understanding of sport, of course.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people that really do really good things. They try to,
Yep.
but as you said, it's hard because if you have a club, if you have your own club, professional or a non-profit, it's still
Yeah.
there's so many things you have to take care of,
It's
So when it
true. It's
comes to
true. Very true.
when you have a high performance group or high performance athletes, they take so much time. And then
Yeah, that's
if you
true.
then you have to handle the kids, you have to handle the recreational players. Like
Yeah.
you cannot travel to Japan for 3 weeks.
No.
We're gonna cover the
Yeah.
club and you go, or so
Yep.
it's hard. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
That's I think
Yeah.
that
I mean, I have two dojos in Manhattan, and it's like, it's constantly something,
yeah, yeah,
Even with
it is.
staff
It
and a
is.
lot of students, it's like, you gotta, this happened, that happened, I gotta do this, I gotta do that,
Mm.
so it's a lot of work for sure. Yeah. It's nice to be able to just focus on the top athletes, right?
It is nice. It is nice. It's
Yeah.
good, but it's also challenging. Of course, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's time consuming. It
Do you
is.
have a coaching style, do you say? Like your methodology that's
Yeah.
a little bit unique, or?
I don't know if it's unique, but yeah, I have my style, like what I think is important, and what I try
Yeah.
to coach the athletes. Because I normally like only work like with high performance athletes, and I work a little bit with cadets and junior also in Sweden, but not so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this case, I work more with like the strategy and the like the pathway. I didn't coach them so much face to face. I only did with the seniors. So like my job is more, as I always say, like my job is to try to bring whatever they have and make it as efficient as possible and
Nice.
try to make it work.
Yeah.
It's not my job to teach them to do a good uchimata. I assume that they can do uchimata. Maybe I can help them to adjust it a bit
Yeah.
so it can start working, or say to them, hey, you shouldn't do uchimata. You should do this technique instead because
Oh, so it's not
now
a
you
very
train uchimata.
technical. Yeah.
No, no, not for me. Like it's more a
Ah.
tactical and physical approach, like how you apply the kumikata, how you build your style so it can be effective. As I see it, many people, especially here in US, I think that in general the technical level is quite okay. It's not too bad. There are some
Yeah.
really good players there, but many of them don't really know how to apply it, especially not in international level, because
Yeah.
of course not. They don't get exposed to it so much here because they fight
Yes,
each other.
that's true.
It's
Yeah.
so like they don't break the kumikata. They maybe don't. Maybe they're training like, for example, like as an example, like if we have athletes which I have come across, they are training. Some of them are training really hard. Like they train like 4, 5, 6 hours a day, and then you have some who like maybe train 5, 6 hours a week. But
Yeah.
when you see the results, it's no difference. They have the same results, which is kind of strange to me. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
train that much, you should probably have a better output. Or if you train that little, you shouldn't be able to. So it's about finding a good balance, for everybody.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, that's so interesting, man. Yeah, because sometimes you go international, you get Georgian guys or Mongolian guys that wrap around, and then if you never really experienced that, you could potentially have a hard time, right?
You
How do
have
you
a part
teach
time.
that?
It's not potential. You're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
but just making people aware of, like, when you do a randori. Like, we can say here in the training center, they do randori. I see they do randori, and they don't break the grips. They just keep it. They're comfortable because they feels good for both of them. I say, hey, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
If you stand in that situation, you're gonna get thrown.
No, yeah.
You must
True,
always
true.
make sure you can dominate. You must make sure you can dominate the grips. For sure, you've seen. I saw you were commentating now in Tbilisi and Antalya.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see the level of the athletes today. Like, it's crazy. Like, the level is crazy.
Different.
Like, the
Yeah.
technical and the physical standards today are so high. They're so
Way
high.
different. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're not training in a way to prepare yourself for that, you have no chance.
No chance. Yeah. Are you still doing Randori with your athletes?
I'm trying not to. No, yeah,
Yeah.
no. Like, I have a really bad body. I can do a little bit kumikata, nevasa. I can do a
Yeah.
little bit, but I know I did a little bit. I did it quite much before,
Yeah.
until like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Then my team in Sweden, they were too strong. I was just in the way.
Yeah. Yeah, man. When
So
you would turn around 40 years old?
I'm 47, so
Wow. You look young, though. You look so good, man. That's good. That's
no.
amazing.
So no, I tried not to do it. I can jump in and do a little bit, like, but
Yeah.
no, I'm too
So
stiff.
if you wanted to, like, is there like a top 5 guys in the U.S. that you want to come to your facility right now? Like, who are they? Like, what would you say to them? Like, if they're listening, maybe.
I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to mention anybody by name like that.
Ah, okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
they maybe we're getting wrong, but I think if you look on the teams now that they have, younger ones and the older ones, compare, like, the best scenario would be, like, you prepare a big group of athletes that the most of them will make their, like, Olympic debut in LA, so they could
Yeah.
last for one more Olympics. So you can really work to that
That'd
for
be
them. But
great.
now we're a
Yeah.
bit late. It's 4 years to LA, and started to prepare a performance system with 4 years before. It's
Yeah, it's
it's
tough. Yeah.
rough. You
Definitely
need
need
it to
about 2
maybe
cycles to really develop them.
yeah, 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 yeah. I would say
Yeah.
normally, if you're in a good level, like, let's say that you're in a level that you can fight, maybe not to win a medal in Grand Prix, Grand Slam, but maybe a top 7, or close to
Yeah.
it. Then you
Yeah. 2
probably would need
matches.
like
Yeah.
you will probably need like 2 to 4 years to make that transfer to, like, be in the top,
Yeah.
to be number one.
Nice. Nice.
So, but I think today there's maybe 5, 10 people out there in US who are, I think,
Yeah.
have a really good potential to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, Jack Yanetska's pretty good now. I see him out there. The
Yeah,
Berliner
but
brothers are looking
he's
pretty
there, like,
sharp.
yeah, like, you can only look at the stats. Like, example, if you are, like, normally you say, if you're like 23, 25,
Yeah.
and you never, like, fought for a big medal, like in the World Championships, or you're top
Yeah.
5, or you win a Grand Prix or Grand Slam, it's not likely that you're going to fight for a medal in the Olympics later.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
example, Jack is a
Agreed.
good example. He's like 21, yeah, 21, I think.
21, 22. Yeah, something like that. Young.
Yeah, and he's there. He's, when he has a good day, he win a medal. When he's not having a good
Yeah.
day, he win 1 or 2 fights. So he's really building up. So he's a
Yeah.
good. But you have some athletes, to be honest, that are fighting on the tour for US. That's, I think, for like 20 or 30 competition, they have no results.
Yeah. So when you
It's,
see
it's
an
not
athlete,
likely that.
like, yeah. So when you see like a athlete that you're like kind of coaching and stuff, like, what is the differentiator between like this guy gonna do it, even if he hasn't done it yet? Like, maybe you just kind of have a feeling. Is there something about somebody that you're like, oh, this guy's gonna? Because I'm sure you've been around athletes your whole life, and what distinguishes?
Yeah, of
it? What is
course,
that?
of course. First of all, I would say, like, the biggest thing is for those athletes who are committed and really do the job, but they do it for themselves. Understand what I mean? They're really
Yeah.
committed because they don't do it for somebody else, or they want to get famous, or they want to make money or whatever. They really want to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
And they are also like they're open-minded and they're coachable. Like you can work with them, and they are open
Yeah.
to develop. But I think everybody can develop. You just have to find
Yeah.
what everybody has as a strength,
Yeah.
identify that strength, and try to build it around it. Then, of course, not
Nice.
everybody can be Olympic champion, but they can maybe
That's true.
win a Grand Prix
Yeah.
medal. That can be good enough
That's
for some
true.
people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's a, fulfilling career sometimes, right? What was your highest finish for your results when you were competing?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God, that was not so much. I was fighting, like I was a 5th place at the Rotterdam Grand Slam Prix, or whatever it was called.
Oh,
my time.
Rotterdam used to be humongous back then. Remember that? That's a different time.
Yeah,
Before
it was
the
different
Grand
time.
Prix and the Grand Slams, but man,
Yeah,
that was
it was
initially-
different. It was different. I won some
Yeah.
medals in like the British Open and those kind of.
That's a good one.
And
Yeah.
so, no, I was not really a super good player. I was like average, I would say.
Yeah, but internationally average is different. That's a great place to be, right? Making it out of your country consistently, that's not an easy thing to do either,
No, it's not. No, but it was okay. But I started judo quite late, so
Yeah.
I didn't have that really. I didn't have that depth. Like I developed it quite late, so it was a bit different. But
Yeah.
it was what it was.
Yeah, yeah, it is
Then
what it is.
Then
Now you get to-
then I transferred to coaching instead, and it was better for me. So I was. mostly
Yeah,
successful
that's
as a
great.
coach.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to you in the U.S. Thank you for being here and helping, the Americans get to where they need to be. And,
see.
you let me know if you want me to help in any way, whether it's like get, social media exposure or whatever it is, man.
for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much
For next time,
coaching.
for next time, for sure, you should come to the training camp.
Definitely. I'm definitely, when they let me know ahead of time, they literally told me the week off, like, hey, can you go down there and make videos with the guys? I was like, I can't just leave my kid here, 1 week before and then just go, So
No,
it's like,
no, sure.
but I'm sure
I will
they'll
let you
give
know.
me more notice. Yeah, let me know. Thank you very much for being on here. And where can they find
Thank
you?
you.
Where can people find you? Where can people talk to you?
So they can find me go to USA Judo on the homepage on the staff. They can find my name and my phone number. They can call me there or send me an email. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they just come to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm here.
Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, great. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Take care.